I do not know what President Emmanuel Macron was talking about. He did not play his role very convincingly in Washington.
President of France, Emmanuel Macron, said following talks with Donald Trump that the parties agreed on the need to deploy European peacekeeping forces in Ukraine after the end of the conflict. The Kremlin has repeatedly stated that Russia is not considering such a scenario. Provided it is not NATO troops, which European countries' forces would Russia be ready to consider?
We cannot consider any such options. I do not know what President Emmanuel Macron was talking about. He did not play his role very convincingly in Washington. When this subject came up at the news conference, President Donald Trump said that the decision to deploy peacekeeping forces could only be made with the consent of both sides. Apparently, referring to us and Ukraine. No one has asked us about it. The approach that the Europeans, primarily France, as well as the British, are now trying to impose is again aimed at fanning the conflict further, suppressing any attempts to calm it down. In Washington, Emmanuel Macron stated the need for an urgent ceasefire and the introduction of peacekeeping forces. According to him, the discussion about territories, people's lives, and other parameters of the settlement can be withheld for later. This is cunning. We cannot possibly agree to an arrangement that is aimed at achieving one single goal, to pump Ukraine full of weapons again. On February 24th, a large group of European officials visited Ukraine and again announced multi-billion-dollar arms deliveries. When the United States introduces a resolution on the urgent need to move towards peace, Europe votes against. Then they confirm with their deeds that they do not want peace, because their puppets have not yet fulfilled their mission. However, their mission seems to be different now. Until recently, it was a strategic defeat to be inflicted on Russia, something the European Union and NATO chanted every day like a spell. Now, President Emmanuel Macron said in Washington that it is necessary to achieve a settlement that would not look like capitulation. These Europeans switch gears quickly, but not always wisely. To reiterate, this discussion on peacekeeping forces is empty talk. It is essential to eliminate the root causes of the conflict, and peacekeeping forces, or lack thereof, is not one of them. The root causes have to do with Ukraine being dragged into the North Atlantic Alliance with an eye on using its territory to create a military infrastructure targeted at Russia, and the complete annihilation of the rights of Russians and Russian speakers. Some suggest an idea of preserving the line of contact. First, this will not happen. Russia has a constitution based on the will of the people. Secondly, whatever is left of Ukraine should also be cleared of racist laws. Some of the people living there are more comfortable speaking Russian, and they want to preserve the traditions of their ancestors brought up in Russian culture. Therefore, chewing over mere technicalities such as the deployment of troops will not bring us closer to an agreement. The discussion on the root causes cannot be avoided forever.